Chapter 3. When No One is Watching. The first time she stepped out of the gym and felt the sunlight on her skin, it felt different. It wasn't the blinding, golden light of victory. It was soft, warm, quiet. The kind of light that follows you only when you've stopped chasing it. She walked through the city streets, where people hurried past with coffee cups, phones, and half-finished dreams. Everyone seemed to be chasing something: money, attention, validation. But she had learned something that few understood: that peace is not found in the noise, but in the stillness of one's own heart. The gym had taught her discipline, but life would teach her meaning. Weeks turned into months. She found a small job at a local fitness studio, helping beginners learn the basics. It wasn't glamorous, but it felt right. Some mornings she would open the gym at dawn, lights still off, the air thick with silence. She loved those moments, when the world hadn't yet woken up and everything felt possible. That silence reminded her of her own beginning. The trembling hands, the fear, the doubt. She saw those same emotions now in the faces of the people who came through the door. Some were running from their pain, some were chasing perfection, and others just didn't know where else to go. She didn't tell them what to do. She didn't preach about motivation or discipline. Instead, she smiled and said softly, "Just show up. That's where it begins." One afternoon, a young man named Daniel joined her class. He was quiet, avoiding eye contact, his shoulders tense with something heavy. During the first week, he barely spoke. He came, lifted, left. But she noticed the pain in his movements. Not the physical kind, but the kind that comes from fighting a war no one can see. After class one day, she walked over and said, "You don't have to carry everything alone." He looked at her startled. "I'm fine," he muttered. She nodded gently. "You don't have to be fine all the time." That was it. No advice, no lecture, just truth. Simple and quiet. The next day, he came back, and the day after that. Slowly, his form improved, his face softened, and a spark began to return to his eyes. She realized something that day. Helping others find their strength was another way of keeping her own alive.
But not every day was easy. There were mornings when she still felt lost, when motivation didn't come, when the light inside flickered faintly. Those were the days that mattered most, because they reminded her that light is not constant, it must be protected, especially when no one else sees it. She remembered her coach's words: "Strength isn't about how loud you are when the world is watching. It's about how steady you remain when no one is." So, she kept showing up, even on the days she wanted to disappear, even when no one clapped, no one noticed, no one said thank you, because she wasn't doing it for the applause anymore. She was doing it for truth. One night, after closing the gym, she sat alone under the dim light, listening to the faint hum of the city outside. Her phone buzzed. A message from Daniel. "Thank you," it said. "You probably don't know this, but training with you helped me through the hardest time of my life. I almost gave up on everything, but watching you, how you just keep going, made me believe maybe I can too." Tears welled in her eyes, not because of sadness, but because she realized something. She had become for someone else what she once needed the most, a light in the dark. The next day, she wrote in her notebook again. When no one sees you, when no one cheers, when no one understands, keep going anyway. Because your effort in silence will one day echo in someone else's heart. Seasons changed. The once timid girl had become a quiet leader, not because she shouted the loudest, but because she listened the deepest. People came and went, but those who stayed learned something unspoken from her presence, that real power is calm, real confidence is kind, and real strength is silent. She didn't have thousands of followers. She didn't post her progress online. Her growth didn't need an audience, because she finally understood the world doesn't need to see you to be changed by you. One rainy evening, she stayed late to clean the gym. The rain outside hit the windows softly, and the smell of metal and sweat filled the air. In the mirror's reflection, she caught sight of herself, older, stronger, calmer. She smiled. That mirror once reflected her fear. Now, it reflected peace. She turned off the lights, but the room didn't feel dark anymore, because she was carrying the light now, and that was enough. Months later, she received an invitation, a fitness event in another city. Her coach had recommended her to speak about inner strength and consistency. She hesitated at first. Public speaking wasn't her comfort zone. But then she remembered what she once wrote. When no one is watching, keep going. Now people would be watching, and that scared her. But courage isn't the absence of fear. It's walking forward despite it. The day of the event arrived. She stood backstage, heart racing. The hall was full, hundreds of faces, all waiting for something inspiring. She took a deep breath. When she stepped onto the stage, the lights blinded her for a second, just like the first time she entered the gym. She smiled at the irony. Then she began to speak. I used to think strength was about muscles, or about never breaking down. But the truth is, strength is about standing up again after the world forgets your name. It's about doing the work when no one is watching and believing that small effort still matters. Her voice trembled at first, then grew steady, firm, warm, and true. You don't need to shine for the world. You just need to keep your light alive. Because someone, somewhere, is walking in the dark, and your light might guide them home. When she finished, the room fell silent. Not the empty kind of silence, but the kind that holds respect. Then soft applause grew into a wave. But she didn't feel proud. She felt grateful, because she knew the girl who once stood trembling under the gym's dim light had now become someone else's light. That night, back in her hotel room, she sat by the window watching the city lights below. Each one twinkled faintly, like a reminder that no light is ever too small to matter. She opened her notebook one more time and wrote, "Real strength
doesn't need an audience. It grows in silence, guided by faith, protected by pain, and proven by time. She closed the book, smiled, and whispered to herself, "I'm not chasing the light anymore. I am it." End of chapter 3, When No One is Watching. The light you keep alive in silence becomes the hope someone else finds in darkness.